Here we have the 2012 VW Up. This is a car I've been wanting to drive and rekindle with since 2016 when I first learned the basics of driving in it in a Crewe Alexandra car park because my parents got it as a courtesy car. Safe to say that clutch saw some abuse. Anyway, today I will show you around the exterior and interior, finishing up with a long overdue test drive. So without further ado, let's start this review. Starting things off at the side of the Up, and I remember getting in and out of this car was more of a 3-second workout than something you do passively, as these doors are extremely long and really heavy. I could guarantee if you weighed both of these doors, they'd probably weigh half of this car. That's a pretty awful joke, but moving on. The Up got voted Car of the Year award in 2012 by What Car, and it rightly so did, because German engineering is smart. This car is compact, efficient and effective, making it just straight to the point and getting the job done. The woman who owns this car does regular motorway journeys to Liverpool and back, so that's about 120 miles a day, and she says she loves the car because it handles the motorways surprisingly well. And that's pretty good given this car was solely built to be a city car. Anyway, the model variant that I'm reviewing today is the 2012 Up Bluemotion Technology with the 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine that only produces 60 brake horsepower and 70 pounds-foot of torque. It only has a top speed of 99 miles per hour as well, and it takes about 14.4 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Now, straight off the bat, I could tell you to go for the up-rated engine, which has 14 extra brake horsepower, as these cars, usually they are used as people's first cars, and sometimes they do uncalculated overtakes, so it's good to have that additional power to get you out of that risky situation. As for price and running costs, back in 2012, the Up ranged from anything between 8 to 12 grand. As for now, you could probably find a similar car to this for pretty much half that price. The highlight of this car though is its running costs. Insurance is so cheap it will probably cost less than your phone contract per month, and as for road tax, well, that's £0 for the year. How good is that? In terms of its design, I can't fault the VW Up. It brings quality and class to the city car segment, and it actually feels like a much bigger car in person. In fact, the more I look at this car, the more I like it, and given it's been out for over a decade, it still remains fresh and quite relevant. In 2011, the Up scored 5 stars in the Euro NCAP crash testing. However, the newly revised crash tests now take safety features into consideration, and the VW Up, well, it lacks these greatly, so it only scored a measly 3 stars. Boot space in the Up is incredible. Look, alright, it only has about, 251 litres, but the Toyota IQ that I reviewed many moons ago, this car absolutely blows it out of the park. Doesn't end there though. If we lift this false floor, there's even more storage underneath there. This car just is full of surprises. So given this car had loads of room in the boot, I'm not looking forward to trying out the rear seats. But with tradition, with every review, let me get in the back and I'll report back to you. So give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, there's all right room in here. I mean, it's not like it's fantastic. I do actually get a lot of headroom, and this seat is actually pretty far back. So if this was moved forward, I would actually have a lot of leg room as well, but really cozy in the back of here and quite surprising. So well done, Up. Moving over to the main half of the interior of the Up, and if you haven't already noticed, this car is pretty much exactly the same as the Seat Mii and Skoda Citigo. Of course, they share near same identical interiors, but the Up gets a more premium interior with better quality products and just a better general layout, to be fair. So I would say it's worth forking out the extra cash and opting for the Up instead of them cars. Within the instrument binnacle, the rev gauge is the same size as the fuel gauge. No idea why the fuel gauge needs to be the same size as the rev gauge, and it actually does end up stealing up space from the rev gauge, and it results you in having to squint to see what your RPMs are. It's something I really don't like in this car, and it really does frustrate me. Moving on, something that's quite annoying in the interior of the VW Up is this black piece of panel here. It does look nice at first, but when you are driving and you are in the driver's seat on some A roads, B roads, it does bring up this massive reflection and glare of trees and stuff like that at the side of your eye, and it does become quite distracting. Some people may not like this, but I do just love the retro feel in the VW Up. I mean, just look at the toggle to change the air recycling mode to just air, however the toggle. Not too sure if it's just been glued on there. And also, you might find this horrendous, but I do love this plastic rubbery steering wheel. It's pretty cool. Anyway, let's take this car for a spin. I've read a few VW Up owners forums, and apparently there's a first gear intermittent problem when it runs cold. So let's start this car up and see if I'm having a similar issue. Apparently it doesn't go into first gear properly, or there's a crunch. No, not really. Maybe this car is just warmed up, or just doesn't have that issue. It's a shame this car didn't go to the US or didn't sell in the United States. I mean, I'm sure a lot of VW owners in the United States really did want this car and went to see this car on the streets, but unfortunately VW made that executive decision to not take it there, and you know, to be fair, I actually don't blame them. All-round visibility is this car's shining point, to be fair. It feels like a fishbowl with these massive windows, and that rear end being flat really does help with maneuverability, as you just know how close you are to the object behind you instead of guessing how long your rear end is. So we've just gone into national speed limit zone, or actually I'm not too sure. We are in Cliff Road today, so I don't know these roads that much, but it is a really nice place. Cars in this category usually have very crashy suspension. However, this car actually feels quite robust and smooth over the bumps. So we've just gone into national speed limit. Let's put foot down. Okay. All right, that's 60. Yeah, it's pretty slow. What could I do? I could instantly tell you though, I actually did own a 08 Toyota Aygo and a Peugeot 107 back in the day, a couple of years ago, and this car feels so much smoother. It's like completely different. Less road noise, better stability at high speeds. Honestly, the difference is night and day. If you're quite a budgety type of person and you want to save some money or every penny counts, I wouldn't go for a model above 2017, as models prior to that only usually have what, £20 road tax or zero. Models past 2017, I think the road tax raises to what, £100, £150. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's quite a big difference and it does matter in this price point. Just coming up to a roundabout right now. Let's see what the handling is really like in this car. I don't think we have enough space to just really go around this roundabout properly, but it's fun because you can go 10 temps and still be within the speed limit. One thing that I find quite annoying is the fact that there is no window switch on my driver's side for the passenger side, so I have to like kind of reach over, but they are still electric windows and you can't really complain about that. Seating position is really high in this car. I am not a huge fan of cars that have a really high seating position. It just frustrates me and it feels like I'm not connected to the road. So guys, I think it's time we switch over to point of view driving now, so you guys get a feel of what it's like to actually drive this VW Up. So give me 1 second, let me strap my GoPro to my head and I'll catch you then. Right guys, now let's go for a point of view drive and just look how simple this car is. There's honestly nothing to it. Now I did actually want to come down this road because it had like up downs and left rights, but as you can see there's a lot of pedestrians and I don't want to, you know, yeet one of them. Look at this house though. Holy smokes. Who lives there? Wow. You know what? I bet he's got a nice collection of cars in that garage down there. Yeah, that's nice that. Right, let's make a left turn and try to make use of this, make use of the handling. Okay, it's a slosher. It is a slosher, this car. how are the brakes? Are the brakes good from 50 miles per hour? Yes! The brakes are really good. So this is probably a small engined car's worst nightmare. Going onto traffic that is traveling at high speed, and we are. Is it gonna get up to speed well? Yeah, you really do have to wring it by the neck a little bit, but hey, it fares well. I also do remember driving the i20N couple last week as well, and yeah, just small cars like these are just fun because you can go 10 temps, still stay within the speed limit, and just have a lot of fun. The tank's really small. It's probably good. Well, I don't know, it won't cost you that much to fill up. I don't know the exact figure of what the fuel tank capacity is. I'll probably pop it on the screen right now. It's about that many litres. But yeah. Oh, flat bottom steering wheel. I didn't even notice that. What the hell? Hey, that's good. Let's do a quick horn test. Let's see what it's like. Well, let's see what it sounds like. It should sound quite manly given it's a VW, right? And it's German. Ready? Yeah, it's alright. So that's the in-depth tour and review around the 2012 VW Up. This car goes against my personal favourite Toyota IQ, and it was very hard for me to distinguish which car I preferred, so I came up with this conclusion. If you'd like a practical car yet small, then hands down go for the VW Up. However, if you'd like a car that has more of a personality, has more technology and features, then go for the Toyota IQ. Hope you agree, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. There's the VW Up, a red one. It's pretty cool. Where are we going? We're not lost anymore. We're not lost anymore, boys.